Good morning, Parkview Church. I hope you are enjoying your Memorial Weekend. It's a privilege to be able to share with you this morning. Has this ever happened to you? You're on a family vacation and you're driving into some city around lunchtime, and the next meal opportunity is a long way off. And you see an exit that has lots of fast food options, so you pull off and you ask, what do we want for lunch? How about McDonald's? Someone in the back seat says, no way. I ate at McDonald's just like 2 days ago. I want Arby's. Someone else says, no, not Arby's. I never know what to get there. Then you say, well, what about Taco Bell? Gross, someone else says. I hate Taco Bell. Anything but Taco Bell. And soon this disagreement turns into a kind of a mini riot, and the volume and intensity goes way up. Then suddenly, cutting through the screaming, is the voice of wisdom, usually Mom. And she says, well, if we all don't choose to give a little here, no one's getting lunch. And we're reminded again of the age-old lesson of giving up our preferences for the good of the family and for greater unity. That's true in the church too. Paul urged the church in Philippi to work through their conflict by writing, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and one in mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. I believe Paul's words can apply to our situation today as well. Many of you have been wondering, when will Parkview reopen? The elders have met several times about this and wish to communicate our hearts to the Parkview Church family. We all know that these have been difficult times for all of us. The COVID-19 outbreak has halted life and routines in many ways. The pandemic has interrupted the way in which we express our faith in corporate worship. Through the initial onslaught of the coronavirus, we practiced social distancing, followed stay-at-home orders, and other safety measures. And it has been a challenging adjustment, I think, for many of us as we have worshiped from home. We must thank our pastoral staff and our church staff for the creative efforts they have gone through in bringing the Parkview worship service into our homes. Now, with the leading wave behind us, we're now trying to figure out how to properly reopen our national, state, and local economies and get back to life as we have known it. Many in our church are eager to move forward quickly, while others in our congregation, many of whom with health concerns, are more apprehensive. To be sure, we all long for the day when we can gather together in worship with joy and without reservation. Until that time, we must move forward with both confidence in Christ and compassion for others. Those are two important watchwords. I think it's safe to say that we all desire to meet fully, freely, and safely as a congregation as soon as possible. That date, however, seems uncertain at this time. But when we do gather together in person as a congregation, we hope that all Parkviewers will sense love and acceptance as we offer Christ-like grace to each other. It should also be said that in the interest of our witness to the community and concern for our church family, we must move forward with care. So after earnest prayer and careful consideration, the elder board of Parkview Church has unanimously affirmed the following statement regarding the process of reopening Parkview Church. And let me read it. We value the aspect of community for Parkview MB Church, and we are pursuing opportunities to scale up within the governor's recommendations for our congregation to meet for meaningful worship and gather as a body of believers. Now, this statement deserves more specific explanation. 1, we value community. As human beings, we are created for community. As Christians, we long for authentic and edifying connections with others in the family of God. This community value is expressed in our vision, come to the table. After weeks of separation, our aim is to begin moving toward community. 2, we are pursuing opportunities to scale up. In anticipation of the day when we can meet as a body with minimal restrictions, we can still be intentional about gathering as smaller groups within the Parkview family as state and local guidelines will allow. As limitations are eased, our gathering sizes can increase. Our hope is that this will serve as a kind of build-up toward our full gathering. 3, this will be done within the governor's recommendations. It is our conviction that following the current state guidelines is vital not only to ensure the health of our congregation, particularly those who are most vulnerable, but also to maintain a strong witness in our community and to unbelievers who are paying attention to our actions and decisions. 4, through these opportunities, we hope that Parkviewers can experience increasingly meaningful worship. Genuine worship is always meaningful, but when we worship in community, it takes on greater significance. Our hope is that as our gatherings grow in numbers, the value of our worship experience will also grow. And when the restrictions on mass gatherings are lifted, the worship we will experience will be especially meaningful. Now, you'll notice no date has been set at this time. There still seems to be a great deal of uncertainty about the virus itself and the effects that reopening will have on its spread. Therefore, the timing of and manner in which we reopen as a church is still fluid. The elders will continue to monitor circumstances in light of state guidelines and direction from the county. As situations become more certain, the elders will communicate more definite plans accordingly. So what can we do now? Well, current state guidelines allow us to gather in groups of 15 people or less. So the elders would like to encourage the congregation to come together intentionally, creatively, and safely as families, Sunday school classes, or other groups. These occasions could include, but are not limited to, Bible studies, prayer meetings, service opportunities, or worship gatherings to watch our live stream service. At this point, we would prefer the locations be in homes or somewhere other than the church building. Also, this is a great opportunity to continue to check in on the elderly in our community, those who feel isolated, or others in need of various forms of assistance. Now, as guidelines change, further direction will be communicated. To be honest, this has been a weighty decision for us. The elders have come to this determination with the following biblical principles in mind: loving God and loving our neighbor, we see in the Great Commandment, Mark chapter 12. Seeking the welfare of the community in which we dwell, Jeremiah 29. Exercising kindness, justice, and righteousness, Jeremiah 9. And submitting to governing authorities, as we see in Romans chapter 13. This has been a more challenging decision than we anticipated. There has been a wide array of factors to consider, and so we ask that you continue to pray for the elders as the situation continues to unfold. Finally, we are making a call for unity. We do hope and pray that as a church we can move forward in the spirit of unity and the bond of peace, Ephesians chapter 4. We are all observing a good deal of division and contention across the country as we attempt to reopen. Sadly, churches are also getting caught up in the conflict. And I feel like the enemy is taking particular pleasure in this heartbreaking reality. We believe, however, that Parkview MB Church can be a shining light to our community and to our world by demonstrating countercultural sacrifice, humility, patience, and unity. And when our light shines, as Jesus says, others will see our good deeds and glorify our Father in heaven. Now, this announcement has been posted on our website if you wish to read it. If you have further questions, please direct them to Pastor Tom, me, our church staff, or any of our elders. Thank you for your time, and I wish you God's blessings, and we look forward to gathering together once again.